Okay, so welcome everyone. Good to have you today. So today the topic has been requested by one of the students, by Peter, and the topic is the 5 hindrances. Of course, we're talking about the 5 hindrances to meditation practice. It's very good sometimes to know the roadblocks, to know what is in the way. Why does my meditation practice not really work? Some people, they practice a lot, they practice every day, and results are not showing. So it might be very, very important to really have a look at what is it that's in the way. Why does it not go deeper? Some people are meditating for years on end. They're not getting anywhere, seemingly. They're saying that I'm meditating since 20 years and I haven't figured it out. I'm still feeling nervous, I'm still getting anxious, I'm still feeling a sense of restlessness, but I sit every day like a soldier. So it might well be that this applies to you. Maybe not the 20 years meditation thing, but like that you're trying your meditation practice and it's not really working out. You don't really feel that you're progressing. So let's have a look at these 5 hindrances. The first one, the most pervasive one, that's probably why the Buddha names it as the first hindrance, is kamachanda, which means sensory desire or attachment to the senses. That really means that throughout most of our lives we are basically busy trying to create a nice sense world. And we're also busy, on the other hand, this is the other side of the coin, to fight off negative sense experience. So just go through these senses real quick. There are 6 of them, unless in Western traditions where we only count 5. In most Eastern traditions you have 6 senses, or sometimes even more. But I think 6 is enough. So you have the sense of seeing, right? The visual sense. So in terms of the visual sense, we're trying to see nice things. We're trying to avoid seeing things that we consider being unpleasant, right? And this the same is true for hearing, smelling, and tasting. That's 4 senses already. And then feeling also. We're trying to feel only nice feelings, and we're trying to not feel unhappy feelings or unpleasant feelings in the body, right? That's the reason why we move the body all the time. Sometimes emotions, are they not felt in the body? You feel them in the body too, right? The feeling that accompanies an emotion is a tactile sensation. It is felt in the body. Maybe you're in an emotional state of anxiety or fear, then you feel that in the body and we consider that unpleasant, and then so we engage it in a full-on war. We're trying to fight it out of the system. It's getting rid of it. I don't want to feel this. Like when you're sad, you're crying. This is the same kind of perspective of judging that feeling as bad and then fighting against it. It's like double the stress. You're sad already. You're grieving already. And on top of that, you're fighting with your grief. It's horrible. You're depressed already. And on top of that, you fight with your depression. We're fighting with the feelings that we feel in the body. Anxiety, fear, depression, worry, grief. You feel it. It's a very physical thing, isn't it? And then the 6th sense, thinking. We only want to have good and happy thoughts all the time, and we don't want to have bad and negative thoughts, right? I don't want to think, I don't want to be so judgmental. I don't want to think that dark stuff, but I do. And again, another layer of fighting and resisting your thought world. and another layer trying to always have only positive thoughts. What a stress. It's horrible. It's kind of like a labor camp or something that we're putting ourselves into. Always need to be happy, constantly functioning, always being on top of our game. That's why many people who come from the West, they come with this very strong feeling of, I'm not good enough. It's constantly trying to be good. And of course, it's never kind of enough, because you could always be better. And this is the problem with improving things. As long as you're improving, you cannot relax. As long as you cannot relax, you cannot be happy. As long as you're not happy, things are not improving. Simple, right? That's the problem with sense desire. We're continuously pushing and pulling on our sense experiences, and we're busy mostly with that. Everything in life is about the senses. Your smartphone, it's all about the senses. Everything in your smartphone is about your senses, isn't it? It's about the visual sense, it's about the intellect, about experiencing this or that. Yeah? Then going to nice places. You want to please your eyes and ears. Being angry at your noisy neighbors. It's about the sense of hearing. Having sex, it's about the senses. Feeling good. Feeling close. If you're observing the mind while in the sexual act, then you will notice that the mind is usually quite empty there. There's not much going on in the mind because we're enjoying physical pleasure. And then the mind also becomes quiet for a little while. So the mind also is charged by that. Feels relaxed by that. Like sleeping too. We like a comfy mattress. We like to lie down comfortably. It's everything in this room, the color of the walls, the pictures on the wall. It's all to stimulate the sense in some way. This is kamacchanda. We're constantly attached to the senses. So that makes it impossible to know what the mind is, because the mind is constantly mixed up with the sense experience. You can compare that to a glass of clear water, and you're dropping in like a drop of ink. If it's a blue ink, then the water turns blue. Your mind is like that too. Sense experiences color the mind, the state of your intellect, the sounds, the sights. It all colors your mental experience. So we can't really pull that apart just yet. We don't see the clear water. We only ever see colored water. As long as we're attached to the sense realm, we don't really know what the mind is. We can, of course, learn about it and have an intellectual understanding, but to directly experience it and taste it, that's something different, right? To taste only the mind, not having any sense experience, right? And kamacchanda, how is that overcome? I will not just give you the 5 hindrances, but of course also tools of how to overcome them. This is overcome gradually with good meditation practice. It will take its own time. You cannot make it faster or slower. It will go in its own pace. All you need to do is consistently practice. And slowly, slowly, you will have a chance to go beyond your senses and see what is it when all senses stop. When there is no more sound, no more sight, no more smell, no more taste, no more feeling, and no more thought. What's left? Now we want to engage that with consciousness, of course. That happens in deeper meditation practice. It happens to us every night in deep sleep, but we're not consciously engaging it. We're not consciously entering deep sleep, right? It happens nonetheless. It's where you rest. And you can only rest so well and so good because all the senses are gone for a little while, so there's no stress going on. So that's the first hindrance and how to overcome it. It takes time. Consistency in good practice. Now the second hindrance, this is a very, very important one also. It plays a huge role. It's about how we meditate. Second hindrance is called vyapada, which means ill will. So ill will is the opposite of kindness. It's related to anger, resistance and aversion. So you can have ill will towards the teachings, towards the teacher. You can have ill will towards the meditation object, towards people around you, towards yourself. Disliking yourself, not being comfortable with yourself. An expression of ill will would be you sitting alone in a room, having nothing to do, no distraction, and feeling really uncomfortable. That is ill will. You don't like yourself. You're not enjoying your own company. You can't be still with yourself. There's constantly something that you need to do. That is a manifestation of ill will. You can't rest. You can't just sit on a park bench. It's way too uncomfortable. You have to look into your phone also. Need to be some distraction there. Just being with yourself. Or you need to listen to the birds. Or you need to look at the trees. But looking at yourself, we don't really know what to do with this, right? We have never learned what to do with our mind. So many of us are totally overpowered by a mind out of control. We are raised in schools and education systems that teach us 1 + 1 is 2. There was a war in 333 before Christ or whatever, and then there was another war there, and then there was the First World War, and then the Second World War, and then this happened and that led to another war with the French, and then the French invaded and whatnot. So it's human history, how countries are formed, history of insanity. It's complete madness. So we know about that, right? We all have learned about our history as human beings. Thousands of years. Invading each other, owning this country, that country. War and peace. It's a history of ill will, isn't it? Of resisting and pushing against. It's not a history of openness and kindness. Even though that exists, I'm not denying openness and kindness, it exists too. The world, as it has a virus, it also has an immune system, right? It has a lot of NGOs that are working for the benefit of so many beings, for the benefit of animals, for the benefit of the environment. There's also there, But it's in constant exchange. It needs this duality. The cruelty in the world needs the helpers. The helpers need the cruelty. It's interdependent. So that spins around all the time. And our resistance towards ourselves, it is mirrored in the way we act day by day. If you want to know what is it that is causing war, then you just drive in your car, on the street. If someone cutting you off, that's what is the cause of war. What is happening inside of you? When someone looks at you the wrong way or says the wrong thing, that is where war begins. In your anger, in your hate, in your resistance, that's where it starts. And for some people, these states are mostly dormant. They're sleeping. But it doesn't take much to push your buttons. And pop, you're angry. Pop, you resist. No, I'm not like that. That's where wars come from. I need to resist. I need to oppose that, and an argument starts. It's about political views. That is secondary. It's just anger trying to feed itself and stay alive. You push a button, anger wakes up, and it eats. As long as it can eat, when it's full, it goes back to sleep. And we're all like that. There's sadness, grief, anger, it's all there. Cruelty, hate, it's all there. Fortunately, for most people, it's dormant, sleeping. And that's good. It gives you an opportunity and a chance to cultivate what is beneficial, right? So anyways, we're learning these kind of things in school, but we don't learn what to do with ourselves. What to do when you're insomniac, having a sleepless night and you're having a panic attack in your bed. What to do? We don't know. We go to a psychologist and then also we're not much smarter afterwards. We know what we did when we were 3 years old and 5, but we still don't know what to do with a panic attack, so we get a pill. And we numb the symptoms. It's kind of the easiest option. Just kill the symptom. Don't deal with the cause. Because frankly, we don't know the cause. We can only kind of like stagger around in the dark and try like, what could it be? But the cause is pretty simple and straightforward actually. We're looking at all the older traditions of cultivating the mind, and learning meditation and so forth, spiritual disciplines. It is quite clear what is the cause. It is resistance and the inability to be kind with yourself. Being raised in a society where it's all about functioning, all about achieving, all about being the best, being independent. It creates people that hate themselves. They can't spend time with themselves. It's impossible. Because you're not meditating good enough. I'm still feeling like shit. This is a big problem, you notice. We just can't accept that we feel like shit. And that's where it starts. That's where ill will ends. If you're feeling like shit, you don't add ill will to it. I shouldn't feel like that. I should feel happy. And we all try. We're all wearing masks of successful, happy people. But deep down inside, we're boiling. What's the purpose of life? Why am I here? Empty hearts. There's no mind. There's no, no heart in it. We're all successful. We're all striving and pushing, and it's a very industrial society. Everyone is very industrious, constantly busy, constantly occupied. There's no availability anymore, no life. We're all planning life. We're all busy trying to live life. Life is right here. And that's what we don't see. That's why we're depressed. That's why we're sad. That's why we lack in the most important department of life, which is your mind, your heart. And that's what's unavailable. It's constantly occupied, like a phone that is occupied. Beep, 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 beep. It's all, you try to call into your heart and your heart goes beep, 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 thinking about how to live a better life. And that's why we are unable to lead a better life, because we can't relax, we can't switch off. And now be careful, don't turn that into your next object of ill will. Damn it, I can't switch off. I should be able to switch off, but I'm too distracted. I'm not good enough. My meditation is not good. See, it goes in through the back door again. It sneaks into your meditation practice. Beware of that. As long as you're having ill will towards yourself, aka hating on yourself, the way you are, the way you feel, you can't meditate. It's impossible. You got to learn to become spacious and open towards yourself. Allowing yourself to be as you are. Allowing yourself to be that human being that you are. With human emotions and human thoughts, human feelings, and human senses. So what I'm trying to do here is to undo the mess that for most of us society has created. The modern day term is to unfuck yourself. And that requires to stop fucking with yourself, doesn't it? And that is what meditation is. Just stop it. Stop messing with it. There's fear, panic, grief, tears. Stop messing with it. Put it down. Leave it. That is what letting go means. Leave it be. The healing process has already started. It's already started. All we need to do is just leave it. Just let your heart do its job. It's now trying to get out all the dirt that has accumulated in all the years that we have lived, quote unquote, and creating space. It is creating space, slowly, slowly. That takes time, no? So ill will is fundamental, particularly important for most Western educated people who have a lot of intellect but empty hearts. Now, the third is like a couple, always introduced as a couple, which is it's called Udaka and Kukucha or something like that. Yeah, I'm not knowing if I pronounce it correctly. And this means something like restlessness and remorse. So they come together, obviously. If you're restless, you are creating actions that lead to remorse. That's number 3, yeah. And if you have remorse, then you create further restless actions that lead to further remorse. This is why they are together. They're in a pair. We're constantly restless in our mind. That leads to a sense of guilt, because as long as we are, or shame, or regrets, because we are unavailable to life. And that, I think, the pinnacle of this is when you die. Just before you're doing a few last breaths. Oh God, I had a life. I wish I would have. See, that's remorse. Because we don't live. Because we only think about life. Constantly thinking about it. We're unavailable to it. We can't feel it. We can't taste it. It makes us not only inefficient, we're not able to live our life efficiently because we're not available. We're in our heads. The intellect has totally overtaken everything. We think we're very knowledgeable and very advanced. In fact, we're good parrots. We're great at parroting information that has been handed to us. But knowing ourselves directly in this moment, right here, right now, it's very hard because there's constant noise in the head that wants your attention. It wants to survive. It wants to tell you who you are and who you're supposed to be. It wants to invade every moment of silence so it can stay alive. It can feed a little bit more from your attention. It eats your attention, your head, blah, 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 the whole day long. And of course that leads to a deep sense of regret and remorse because we're spiritually on a deep level unavailable for life. We're not experiencing it. There is only ever a few moments that we remember that were absolutely blissful, and they were always free from thought. There were no problems in your head. You could just enjoy the sunset. You could just enjoy the first kiss. You didn't think about the stock market in your first kiss. The dance. A dance maybe. Maybe you love dancing. Whatever it is, there's these memories of events in your life that were unstained of thought. And you were like childlike, present, able to just enjoy. That is what we remember. Moments of deep affection, expression of love, kindness. We remember that because it is not complicated. It is not a complicated problem of the me asking itself, how will I ever be uncomplicated? It will not. It's not possible. It's not in the nature of the me to be uncomplicated. The mind lives off of complication. It loves the drama. It's like its own movie hero that looks to become uncomplicated. But I guarantee you, if that movie continues, then by the end of your life, that movie hero will look forward to heaven. It will not end. It's still hoping to become uncomplicated. But it will not. So don't try to make it uncomplicated. That's the hero acting. It's trying to make yourself uncomplicated. Doesn't work. You have to just let go, relax. Just leave yourself alone. Allowing your body and your mind to unfuck themselves. The fourth hindrance is tina mitta, which means sloth and torpor. That's the other end of the spectrum. So now there's nothing to do for me, right? I don't need to do anything, so you just stay in your comfort zone. There's also no progress, right? As long as you're kind of lazy, you're not doing your practice, you're not sitting down and dedicating time to cultivate the heart and to open your heart, then it will not happen. So in a way, we have to cause meditation to arise. We have to cause insight to arise. We have to create the right kind of circumstances. We have to act as a gardener. That takes care of a garden. So you have to cut out the weeds and you have to plant useful plants and then water them regularly and make sure that the dogs are not coming into your garden and messing everything up and whatnot. You know, you have to make sure that this garden stays nice and enjoyable. And eventually you can enjoy its fruits. And you can sit in it, you can sit under the shadow of your tree that you have watched growing. And so sloth and torpor would be like seeing that it's a messy garden but not doing anything about it. So the practice also, next to letting go, it needs the aspect of cultivating. Many people misunderstand. They say, well, so that there's nothing to do for me then. Yes, there is. Be kind. Go around and help people. Be there, be of service. But relax at the same time. Do your job well. Hopefully it is your calling and not just a job you do. Hopefully it is something that comes out of your heart that you can do, because it benefits this place most. And none of that works if we would just be lazy asses sitting on our couch all the time. It doesn't work. You don't get anything done in life if you are cultivating laziness. It includes meditation, it includes kindness. It's very kind not to follow laziness. Laziness makes you weak, inert, unable to make a difference. So we need to act, and act wisely. Meaning, our actions lead to benefit both for ourselves and others, both now and later. That requires wisdom, it requires studying and knowing what is it that is skillful and useful to do in my life. How do I take care of myself? What do I do with my body? What do I do with my living environment? And how dedicated am I practicing? What is the input? That's all important too. And the final one, and of course, during meditation practice, sloth and torpor, they become a sort of a laziness, that when you sit down and you're becoming drowsy and dull in the mind and foggy, right? So how to overcome that? Well, take a nap. It's the best method. Take a nap before you meditate, so you're not becoming drowsy. And the fifth one is doubt, vichikicca, doubt. Feeling doubt towards the meditation object. Am I doing it right? Should I change my object? Should I change from the breath to visualizing light? I did some meditation where we focused on a light between the eyebrows. Should I continue doing this, or should I focus on the breath? Doubt towards the meditation object. Which one is the right one for me? That's one. Am I practicing the right way? So that's why we need a teacher, a guide in the beginning to clear away the doubts, and that you eventually go beyond doubt concerning these things. Doubt concerning your teacher, is that guy really qualified? Doubt concerning the teachings, are those teachings really it? Did the Buddha talk the truth, or am I supposed to believe in that? Is that just another doctrine, another dogma that I have to accept? There's a lot of doubt, a lot of intellectual questions that come up in the mind. Thing is, with meditation practice, doubt is only cleared by right practice. So if you're practicing the right way, you have to learn how to practice the right way. So that's why we spend time with the teacher. And when you spend time with the teacher, you're slowly developing a habit of right practice. So you're walking the path that your teacher has walked or is walking. And then, of course, leads to similar results. Removing doubt concerning the teacher. You have to spend time with your teacher. You have to check the teacher out. Like, is that guy really qualified? Is someone just talking a lot? Where does that teacher come from? Where has he learned? How long has he been doing this? What's the system? Is he presenting the system correctly? That's important too. There's a whole lot of Buddha quotes on Facebook. Have you seen? The Buddha said, like your life is in the stars. There's just as many stars as there's life, and all that kind of. And then there's the Buddha. It says below that. The Buddha has never said that. There's a website dedicated to fake Buddha quotes. It's called fakebuddhaquotes.com or .org. Check it out, fake Buddha quotes. You just Google it. And, the problem is people see something on Facebook, they just accept it. They don't question it. And then I say something and I say to you, well, the Buddha has said this and that. And you're in a problematic situation because you have to believe me. I'm some sort of authority maybe for you, and then you think, okay, because Tobi sits up there and he talks about it, must be true. No, you have to check what I'm saying. You have to fact check me like you would fact check Trump. It's really important. And whoever it is that you are relying on to, are they just talking, or does it have a foundation what they talk about? Is it real what they talk about? Is it reliable, and does it work? That is only shown in your practice. And then you can, if you're new to this, then look for people who've stayed a longer time with a particular teacher. What has happened to them? How has their life changed, etc., etc. How do they conduct themselves? How does the teacher conduct himself? This is important. And then slowly doubt concerning your teacher, the teachings and so forth will fade. And there will be a moment in your practice, there's no more doubt. Doubt is gone. You've clearly understood your mind, how it operates. There's no more to understand. So all these 5 hindrances, in terms of when you're sitting and doing your meditation practice, then the first one is, of course, the attachment to senses. That gradually fades. The second one, ill will, which is ill will towards the breath, towards the present moment, not really wanting to just relax with what is and the way it is. That's why I always introduce kindness. Be kind to, when you're sitting quietly, be kind to your restlessness. Be kind to that many thoughts that are coming in. It's fine, you're doing it, you're doing the work, you're doing the progress, and you're just fine. You are, and let me guarantee that, good enough. Yes. Three, restlessness and remorse. I'll lead a lifestyle that doesn't lead to remorse. So that means my number one tip for that is live every day as if it was your last day. We have a little tradition. It's new. It's a new tradition in our retreats. I always say in the first day, I say, you can make pictures on the morning excursion. You can make photos, right? We go to nice places every morning. We do sit meditation. And then after people have some time, they can walk around and explore and take pictures. But they can only take 3 pictures. If you have a limit, then what kind of pictures will you take? You'll make sure that they're good, right? You have 3 pictures to take. They'll be good pictures. Guaranteed. If you have a memory card that allows for 10 billion pictures to be out, you don't care about the quality of your pictures, and so you walk around, selfie, 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 and then you browse through 156 selfies to find the right one later. But if you just... what that does is it takes away the quality of attention to what you are doing right now. It becomes unimportant, irrelevant, empty, like our hearts. It's just another reflection of our mind. It just doesn't matter. It's empty. It's nothing really. I can make 100 pictures of that, and none of them really matters. I probably don't even look at them anymore later. They're just stored in my phone memory. So take 3 pictures, make them count. If you would die today, that day would count. You would make it count. How do you want to spend it? It's your choice, your decision. You make decisions, right? What kind of decisions would you make if your time was limited, which it is? How would you treat other people? How would you treat yourself? It's a difficult question to ask because most of us come from a perspective of guilt and feeling shameful about ourselves. Being unable to really allow ourselves to be joyful and to be simply just like this. Yeah. But would you not at least do a few nice things if it was your last day? Something harmless. One time I asked somebody, what would you do if this was your last day? He would say, I wouldn't bother with meditation, I would get drunk and get a hooker. And I was like, wow, okay, interesting choice. I doubt he would do that, by the way. I doubt it. You get the diagnosis, that's it for today. Yeah, this evening you'll do your last breath. You wouldn't get drunk and get a hooker. You wouldn't do that. You'd probably call your mom or say something to your children or your friends, something nice, probably. You wouldn't argue about politics. It's a waste of time. Right? What would you do with people that come to you and speak with you, say things to you? So living every day as if it were your last. This is a practice, is a training which takes care of that. A third hindrance, restlessness and remorse. And in meditation practice, when there's restlessness and remorse, just be kind to it. It's all right. It's part of your life. You have messed up. So did I, so did everybody. We all messed up. We all have a messy past. It's fine. Can you be kind to it? It's all right. And it is all... As Ajahn Brahm always said, shit is the best fertilizer. It's where good qualities come from. It grows from that. It grows from your hardcore story. I have people with crazy stories coming to me. Every retreat, there's somebody with stories you won't even believe what kind of hardships people went through in their life. What kind of cruel and bad stuff. It's unbelievable. I'm in that way in a position where I can see that every week, that we're all very similar. And that all these hard experiences can make us stronger and kinder and more spacious. That's the opportunity. That's why it's fertilizer. So it's good. It's fine. And you are good enough to get it started right now. To learn how to receive yourself with more kindness. Sloth and torpor, same thing. Be kind to it. Take a nap. Then meditate. You're obviously exhausted if you're constantly falling asleep when you meditate. Have a look at your lifestyle. How do you spend day to day? What do you do? And in case that you constantly sleep, cut down on sleep. Some people sleep too much. And then when they meditate, they're getting tired too, of course, because there's this general sloth. It just pervades everything we do. So there's a need to get a purpose, get a life, do something, right? Get out and learn dancing or learn another language, just connect with other people, do something, become more active, raise your energy, do some yoga, whatever. And finally, right, doubt. Wisdom will eliminate doubt. Meaning once you clearly understand your mind, then there will be a time when questions are of the past. There's no more questioning. Because you are here to see every single question. And the one seeing has no questions. So these are all the things that come to mind about the 5 hindrances. It's just a little reflection on them. Might raise that topic again one more time in the future with some different kind of inputs, but that's pretty much all for this time.